Examiner. Can I just ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm asking, why are you supporting the Tea Party movement?
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Miles Miller.
Miles?
Yes.
I'm supporting the Tea Party movement because it's an expression of the popular will of the American people.
All right.
Why would anyone not?
I gotta take a picture of Lou Dobbs. Okay.
Another.
I'm with NYU and we're doing a journalism story.
Hey, what's sir?
I know you spoke at our school.
I did. Well, a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you, why are you here supporting the Tea Party movement, and what do you think it's going to accomplish today?
Because it's an expression of the popular will of the American people, giving voice and representation to people who are denied it in the nation's capital. It's a very important issue, and I hope everyone will turn out and support the Tea Party and the popular expression of the will of the American people. It's being denied them in Washington, D.C.
And do you think having it in places here like New York, do you think that that's...
Every city, every town, every quarter of America, every American should be making themselves heard now, because the future of the nation is at stake.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How do you feel about the lack of minorities or so those kind of people who are in the Tea Party movement? There have been a number of people who said that there's not enough in the Tea Party movement.
Why are we bailing out Wall Street?
Did you hear the man talking, or are you going to be rude? I'll be glad to talk to you soon.
Protester.
No, you're not being a protester. You're being a rude.
This is our government. We should be in charge of it.
Do you want to talk to this
gentleman? And we have Wall Street taking in charge. We have
NATO. I was talking
about
a
great question. Let me ask this question.
I mean, it's run by the few.
Let him
We need
answer
to
his
be in
question.
control.
I asked a question. Can we stop?
You know, if you want to be quiet, I'll be glad to answer their questions, and I'll turn to you. But you know, you have to be civil. This is a disagreement with government,
Right.
and it really requires civility on all our parts, doesn't it?
It's our government, right?
Thank you. Why am I supporting a Tea Party movement?
My question was more tailored to the lack of minorities in the Tea Party movement.
Tailored to? No, I think that what is really, this is the second Tea Party I will have attended in 5 days.
Right.
In both places, I have said, and you will hear me say, that the Tea Party movement is an expression of the popular will, must be inclusive, it must reach to every...
How do you reach those people?
Well, that's, you know, do you want to hear what I've got to say, or do you want to continue with this nonsense? You know, I don't take you seriously, you're not listening to me, and that wraps it.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, sure.
Sorry, what do you think about CNN hiring Eric Erickson?
What do I think? As you might guess, I'm not particularly interested in either their hiring policies or what they're doing. That's their business. It doesn't.
That's why I don't like it.
What do you think of it?
No,
how's it working?
I'm not sure.
Can I ask you a question? I'm not interviewing, but actually I'm someone who originally when I first heard of you, I thought you were very extreme, nice, watch show CNN, and over time I started to agree with some of the things you said. Actually,
oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know. I'm a black person. That. Oh my God! I know. And I start watching this all the time.
By the way, my audience is comprised of a large number of minorities.
Oh, it is, and as well as your staff. I've seen that.
I'm an independent. You know, the problem you got is the far right and the far left attacking me. Because I criticize both. I don't suspend my critical judgment for either extreme
I've seen that.
political spectrum.
Are you convinced
But
that...
I'd like to address, or maybe rephrase the question that he asked. The Tea Party movement seems to, I don't necessarily think everything they're saying necessarily is bad. I think that the representation...
Well, that's awfully liberal of you.
okay, yeah, fair enough. But I think that some of their expression gives the impression or the subtle impression of racial polarization that is wealthy, well, socioeconomic / ethnic.
No, I mean, these are your words. I just want to know what you mean.
Yeah, no, they're my words. But my impression when I watch them, again, my impression is based, like most people, by television, by what we've seen today, is that they're mostly white, of a socioeconomic class, either very wealthy because they're protecting the
my God, I mean, are you defining a whole group of people?
I'm giving my impression.
No,
I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying my impression.
Why bother saying anything if you don't have a sense that you're right or wrong?
Because my question is, do you think that they could change that impression? In other words, if the Tea Parties were to get what they wanted, how would it help, say, someone like me?
Look, how will it help? See, I don't see any difference between you and me. We are both citizens of the United States.
Right.
We are both absolutely dependent upon the Constitution of the United States for the rights we enjoy, for the opportunities we enjoy. What is the difference between you and me?
Color.
What is that? What does that color mean?
Well, millions of dollars, color, stature,
Money.
my age being 16, your age being older than me.
Okay, well, if you're all about the differences, you're going to have a hard time. Because the Tea Parties are about bringing people together to celebrate.
But how do you reach these people?
Excuse me. You know something? This will be the second time I've tried to answer you, and you don't want to listen. Now that I can chalk up to either your age or to a lack of civility. Which is it?
Well, that's why I try to rephrase the question.
Can I ask you one more question?
Because if it's your age, I'll be glad to continue. But if you're going to continue to be lacking in civility, we're done.
To rephrase someone, the question really is, how can they promote and expand on being more inclusive so that we feel comfortable with the message they're sending?
Whether you feel comfortable or whether I feel comfortable is dependent upon how well we work under the Constitution in our day-to-day lives. Right now, the Constitution is under attack by a government that refuses to represent you and me and the American people as citizens. We are being treated right now by the Congress of the United States and by the President of the United States, as far as I'm concerned, as subjects. We're not citizens in their views. We are, by the way, and we bear great responsibility for that because we have not demanded respect by fulfilling our duties.
I agree with
We
that.
should be going to the polls every election.
But Obama
and
was
we should
elected.
excuse me again, please.
I mean,
I've
but
never
you're saying
heard so
that
many people who want to talk at once. But
You're a celeb.
well, I'm just, please, I'm
But
trying
I'm
to be civil with you, and I'll
but
turn to you
you're acting
as
as though
soon as I
he's
answer
not
the meeting. Is that
representing
fair
us.
enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you and I have got to turn out in November, and we've got to vote, and we have to quit being satisfied with 60% turnout. We have got to be talking about 70 and 80. Why the hell shouldn't this country be turning out to vote in numbers approaching 90%? Why not?
We clearly have a population that's relatively apathetic until relatively recently as to the values and the things that are important to us. We're watching our jobs go away. No one's fought that for years, for decades. That's why I watched the show. You talked about a lot of that. And it's true. A lot of what you said back then has turned out to be true.
By the way,
we have seen
I
jobs.
appreciate you.
Are you convinced yet that our president is a citizen of the United States?
I've always said that. By the way, don't fall into the left-wing propaganda nonsense.
I don't.
I have always said that I believe the President of the United States is
But
a
you
citizen.
questioned it.
Again, do you really want my answer, or do you want to continue to interrupt me?
I'll listen.
That's a good start, and we can have a discussion, a dialogue, and maybe reach even agreement. What I have said in every instance is that the President of the United States is a citizen, but I question his political judgment in not producing his long-form birth certificate. Why would you not
He
do
did
that?
produce it, though.
Oh my God.
He produced his
Okay, it's
certificate of live birth.
I'm trying to be serious with you, and then you're asserting things that are not fact. Please check it out, okay?
Okay, I am.
Besides the fact he's a citizen of Indonesia, what do you think about Ron Paul's idea to ban his proposal?
I think it's absurd.
I think it's absurd.
Absolutely absurd.
So
Why are we worrying about the Federal Reserve when you've got banks here on Wall Street that need to be regulated? This is not a failure of
Totally agree with
law.
that.
This is a failure of regulation. It's a rollback in 1999 at Glass-Steagall.
I agree.
I mean, this is straightforward, empirical.
Totally agree. You have no argument here.
It's not about
Totally agree.
some crazy
Phil Graham
libertarian philosophy
and
or some mad left-wing nonsense. This is about administering a government and running it effectively and efficiently for the American people.
So you're saying there
And
needs to be more
everybody wants to
regulation?
get consumed with the ideology and the partisanship instead of why in the hell doesn't government work for the people? That's the issue. And everything, I mean, we've got more people in this country talking about gay marriage and its threat to heterosexual marriage. It's one of the most absurd discussions that you can have. If anybody can explain the physics of why homosexual marriage threatens a heterosexual marriage, I would love to hear it. It is utter nonsense, and everyone within my voice knows that. And yet each one of you plays the game. Each one of you.
I don't.
Well,
It's a false.
Sounds like
I agree with you.
It sounds like someone's.
Needs more regulation.
my God, how in the
But you have
world?
Mitch McConnell standing up
Excuse
and
me,
saying
please.
no.
If you interrupt me one more time, our conversation's over.
Okay.
Okay? Regulation is exactly what I was talking about when I talked about the rollback of Glass-Steagall. Do you know what Glass-Steagall
Yes,
is?
I
Okay. We need to regulate the markets. The reason these markets grew to be the strongest and the most secure in the world and were instrumental in creating the prosperity and the wealth of this country is because we had regulation, because we made certain these markets were secure and investors reasonably safe. Risk was permitted, but rampant greed overwhelming the investor was certainly not.
I mean, you have all these great ideas. Why don't you run for office? You gonna run for office?
Dobbs, when are you going to announce your nomination? When?
I haven't decided. I'll figure it out. I'm still in the process of thinking.
Dobbs, can I get a picture?
Can we get a quick picture of you?